All right. So Explain Everything is a digital whiteboard. I would say that we have a couple years back, I did show this in terms of an iPad app. Um, Pretty powerful whiteboarding system. But I think the difference for us now is the ability to, they've really bumped up the software, and now you have the ability to both share the same whiteboard where you can both interactively work off the same whiteboard at the same time. When I say both of you, I'm saying you and a student. There is the ability to share a whiteboard with multiple users. You'll see how that works. You could, in essence, you could have an entire class all sharing the same whiteboard. You could you could understand where that might get a little concerning, given everybody has edit rights to the board. But in the same vein, I think I haven't looked at it completely yet, but there is a way I believe you can turn off them being able to edit the board, but at least they can see the board that you're looking at. This kind of replaces your classroom mentality of standing up in front of the whiteboard and giving notes. Um, Again, I don't know how many of you do that per se, but again, this is just a quick way to do it. So here's the program in a nutshell. And again, this would be from a teaching perspective, right? I've got yours explain everything. I've got you got new, invite, join, and share across the top. Um, you have a library which has all of your projects that you're working on. But just for the sake of showing you how this thing works, um, the two I'm going to point you to are invite and join. Join with code. Share is a way to push out an existing project that's already done. New is a complete, a completely new project. Let me show you a couple of examples that I've used. This was primarily with math in particular. Here's the first. I'm hoping the audio will come through. I'm not sure it will. But this was one I put together for an audio piece, and I actually recorded it. This is actually a video. You guys hearing the audio on that? Somebody help me out.
No.
So when I stopped, okay, that's a bummer. So let me,
Still not hearing it, Dave.
still not, huh? Okay, well, anyway, I'll talk over. I'm basically talking about the word problem, Juan's car and Alan's car, and walking, verbally talking through the problem. You can see this is a problem that was already created. I didn't type this problem out. This was already set up in a book, or I either took a picture of it or I forgot how I got it in here. So I'm basically talking through the word problem in the video. They'll just give you an idea of what it can do. And you can write on it. So I'm writing out the answers to the word problem. Interesting as heck to talk over your own voice at the same time. But so in any case, that's one example of things that you can do with it. The other one I had was just simply a straightforward chalkboard. Please don't comment on my handwriting. This was a lesson talking about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And sorry, non-math folk, this was looking at slopes with parallel and perpendicular lines. I had to give definitions of what a parallel line was and what a perpendicular line was. And then we started getting into negative reciprocals. But here's a great example of straight handwriting. And you're just talking over the video as you're writing on the whiteboard. So 2 examples. You also say I got a hockey video in there. So let's go to this idea of the shared idea. So let's say I want to create a new whiteboard that I'm going to share with somebody. So I'm going to go to new. You've got templates. You actually see over to the right, there's files there where you actually can see what kinds of files you can pull in. So you can actually start with a Word file. You can start with a picture. You can start with a video or an existing Explain Everything project. So clearly you could put like a picture. Somebody might want to pull a picture up and start annotating the picture if you need to, but I'll just go into a blank canvas. This is where the trickery gets a little interesting. Just give me a second. I'm going to actually I'm going to attempt to connect a second iPad to your screen. And this is where it may get a little confusing. The second iPad that you see right there doesn't seem like it's responding quickly here. Hold on one second. Maybe my technology is beyond. So you got two iPads in front of you. The back one is still the teacher's iPad. The front one is now what would be the student's iPad. So I'll open up, explain everything on the student's iPad. And you'll notice a little delay on mine. Sorry, it'll come in a second here. But so this top one would be the student looking to join a whiteboard. It is really slow. Sorry about the lag time. I thought I was doing a good thing moving into another area. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, let me show you on this one. See if I can reverse the roles here and see how that goes. I just lost that one. So maybe we, yeah, go ahead.
Do they need to use the app or can it be online?
They can certainly online. The editing abilities online are limited clearly because you don't have a touch screen. But if this, I would say this, if it's something that you just want to show to them, I would certainly do it online for them, and just have them stay away right from the app itself. They can certainly, they're going to create. I'm going to send out an email with everybody, every student in there, and they're going to create a username on that email. It'll be their school email address will be their username, and they can certainly log in online just to view a board. So I hit join with code, right? I'm saying this is the student one, and I'll have to show you what I'm doing on the host one in a second. But I've got if you remember, I've got a blank whiteboard open. I'm going to say invite on my staff one, and I know you can't see that, but the minute you see the invite, you've got a join code that shows up. So you would give your students the join code. Let me just type it in. JFWN. And you have this screen that pops up in front. Again, this is what a student would see, right? So here's the idea, and I think there's a way. I haven't looked into this, but I think there's a way to knock them out of edit mode, where if you just wanted them to see the whiteboard, that would be one step. But let's just see what this looks like here. So I'm going to say edit. Notice the great power here. You can actually, again, as we deal with Zoom, you could see that multiple microphones on at the same time is not really a good thing when you have like 10 or 12 people doing it at the same time. But if it's between you and a student, I wouldn't see any problem with both of you having your microphones on, talking to each other. I'm going to mute the microphone because I have no idea what hazard that would cause. So here we go. If you saw my screens, you would see two of the same screen at this point. And when I start drawing on one board, I'm actually drawing on the teacher board. So the board you're seeing is a student board, and I'm actually drawing on it. And you're actually very similar to Google. You'll see whoever's adding to the board will have their name with a bar under, and their name in a tag underneath it, which allows you to see who's editing the board. Right? You look over to the right, you see Dave's student. That's my smaller iPad that I've got to the right of me, and then Dave LePage is my teaching whiteboard. So in essence, that's it. I mean, if you like, let's say I want to add an equation for math. Again, going along with the equation idea, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice the difference between the two, but you could go ahead and actually add equations. You'll actually see, so I'll put a 2 in there. I'll hit the arrow. And those of you that are ever messed around with equation issues, kind of hard to see. Let me try to, yeah, I'd have to increase the font on that a little bit. But you can actually, if you lean in real close, you'll see 2 squared. Again, I'm typing on the staff whiteboard, not the student, and the student is able to see that. The student, if I go over to the student piece, I can actually edit on the student as well. So now I've got 2 separate edits. I've got staff up here, This is the staff, or the teacher, I should say, maybe. This is the teacher's edits here. And then down here is the student edits, student. So you got both that appear on the same one. And then somebody is there. You go. Travis is already connected to. You saw the code already. So those of you that want to connect, I would tell you the code is to the right top over there. The YRF. If you've got explain everything, either you might want to try it online or on an iPad or on your iPhone. I know Banaka had tried it with an iPhone. Works on an iPhone just fine too. But at least it gives you common workspace to be able to do whatever it is you want to do. The power of explain everything for multiple reasons over. You might say, well, I could do this in a Google, a Google sheet or something, which you absolutely can. Just keep in mind, your Google Sheets or a spreadsheet, your Google Docs or a Word file. This allows the ability to handwrite. It also allows the ability to post all of these various things. The equation editor is pretty cool. Pictures, browsers, you can pull videos up, you can pull actual files up, you can pull audio if you'd like. The other step to this too is this is completely recordable. If I recorded this whole piece with explain everything, you'll notice the record button down below and then your mute microphone. The other interesting piece is as I zoom, right, I'm moving this around on my screen. I zoom in and zoom out on the home screen. It does not zoom on anybody else's screen. But if I go to the student screen and I start zooming, let me get out of there, you can actually see the pictures are moving, and then you have actual zoom capabilities on your own, but nothing changes on the common whiteboard. And that's all done by down below where it's, so you can zoom in. If this is turned on, you can zoom in. I just can't hit it right now. You can zoom in for yourself and it doesn't change the common whiteboard. And who's that? Tom. Tom, you're in too as well. Good for you.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
Would this be easier with a stylus? Is that something we should grab for people?
Yeah, great question. I've already got a bunch of them. I've got about, I forgot how many I ordered. I've got a couple of them in, the higher level ones. But I would say you clearly a stylus is certainly something that would help you out if you find yourself using this quite a bit. I am going to, for the sake of chat and communication, I'm going to jump out of screen share. That's about, I could go through, at some point, I'll go through the tools. But again, if you sit with one of these whiteboards and you start going through the tools, they're pretty self-explanatory in terms of what the tools do. The recording function, again, I will probably go one-to-one on that. If people are interested in trying to record some of these pieces, I can certainly show you how to do that. It's not an easy process in terms of recording and editing the record or the video. Hang on one second, I'm just trying to zoom this guy out. You'll notice also too, they're all very independent of each other, right? So I can kind of only control the edits that I've made unless I'm on the other edits as well. So interesting idea. Like I said before, the record function, yeah, somebody's messing around with it already. There you go. Messing around with stealth mode, and that's that ability to zoom when there you go. You must be. I'm gonna assume it's Travis probably. Recording bits and pieces of this, so you could see right away there would be some issues if you're allowing edit across the screen, but I would stealth. I'm gonna look into the idea of only one-way presentation, how to turn it off. I could completely see this being used one-on-one and having both of you have edit, a la Tom Washburn helping a student work through some math problems. They can take, I was thinking about Alex too, and how could they get an Alex problem without rewriting it and all of that stuff. You certainly take a screen capture of the Alex problem that he's working on and pull that into this and be able to work from the same problem. Possibly, I mean, as Travis is throwing a question up there, worth copying and pasting a whole paper to do a conference one-on-one. Don't see why that wouldn't be a problem. The beautiful thing about it is you got the voiceover ability, where you could clearly have that conversation with them all within explain everything. A paper, I look at a paper and being able to look at the same paper, again, beyond my scope. I've never really done it in terms of covering a paper with somebody, but to the best of my knowledge, I think within Google, I think you can just type out like he's doing right now, just type out notes to each other. But really love the voiceover in terms of having a conversation, a symmetrical, if you will, conversation with them as you're talking about it. Yeah, and a phone call too, as well, certainly.
Hey, Dave.
Yep.
Can I say, how do we write on that? I'm there on the iPad, but I don't know if I want to type something or write something. How do I do that?
So, do you have a whiteboard
This
that's
is going
open?
back to 101.
You have a whiteboard that's open. Did you create a new whiteboard?
I've got your whiteboard.
Okay, well, so you got the tools on the left, right? Or is your tool panel on the left? Yeah.
Okay.
If you go down, there's markers, there's highlighters. There's a text tool down below. They're all the tools are right there. Yep.
Okay. I just need to refresh my memory on how to do all that.
Yeah. And again, I wasn't really trying to drive this into a lesson on explain everything. I was just trying to show the collaborative whiteboard to have that discussion. If there's some great tutorials, like I said in my email, there's some great tutorials on explain everything as the app to be able to use it. That's in that COVID resources page that I put up.
Okay.
Go into YouTube. There's great. Just type in explain everything tutorials. Guarantee you're going to come up with the 6 that I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. So the connectivity is kind of what I wanted to show. Wanted to make sure people knew it was out there. If there is more, I'd like to answer questions on an individual basis. Break it down if you want. But those videos do a great job. But if you have any questions about the use of explain everything, I've been using this for 4 or 5 years now. So pretty good with it. I've actually edited hockey games with it as well, which was interesting, in terms of a telestrator kind of idea, and then recorded the whole thing. So not what it was made for, certainly. Yeah, there you go. We get all kinds of additions to the board.
Are you able to see chat now?
Go ahead. Yes.
You're able to see chat now. David Rosen put up an idea for how he's used it as well, so I wasn't sure if you could see it.
I think he's typing it out on the actual board at this point in time. Yeah, I didn't know about collab. Yeah. Yeah, Tom, just unmute your laptop. That's a great question, right? So many different layers of.
I figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, this is one of those things. Honestly, if you want to use it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. There are many different ways to do what we're trying to do. And again, if you got any other questions about it, I'm wide open here. It looks like our connection seems like it's okay. I know a lot of people are muted right now, but I'm just sifting through the chats here. Hang on a second. Thanks for your levity, Travis. If you got questions and want to shoot them to me, anything off the top of your head, let's test Zoom while we're at it right here. Anything off the top of your head, unmute and fire away. Whit, what are you thinking?
Dave, I am thinking straight Zoom for my sports psychology class. This, I see this, but I think I'm better equipped to get my shit together with Zoom and add that on to, do some of the back and forth with that and maybe leave the whiteboard for next year.
You also created videos, if I remember right. I haven't seen one in a while, so you have that.
Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. I think I have some if you want me to send them out to you. The other piece you just reminded me too. The other thing I have ordered is if anybody's interested in an iPhone tripod, let me know. I've got tripods as well that you can pop your iPhone into and set it up on a tabletop, those kinds of things. Let me know. Any other questions?
I'm gonna go back to that one I asked this morning. I guess when I was jumping the gun a little bit. Just basics, connecting to the class. So we need to get their emails, and then basically we're going to make a class on Zoom?
For Zoom or explain
No,
everything?
for Zoom. If
Actually, you know what, Tom? Why don't you and I, if you get time after this,
Yeah.
we could actually do a Zoom on Zoom. So
okay,
yeah, why don't we'll connect after we get done this, and I can
Okay.
show you exactly how to do that.
great, good, thank you.
All good? Okay. Again, play with it. I know that a lot of people watch these things and they're like, "Oh, that's great." Keep in mind, I did a training on this 2 years later, no, 2 years ago, and not more than I'll pick on Courtney because I had in the past, but she had things don't hit you until you have the question, right? So we do trainings all the time. And it's like not a big deal when you're going through it. And then 6 months later, you're like, oh, I really wish we could do something like that. And that's exactly what happened to Courtney. Alex, after I did the training at the beginning of the year, Alex at the point in time said, well, you should work with, she was looking to record a whiteboard. And, he said, well, you should look at Explain Everything. And she was standing with Alex and I. This was in January of that same year. And she looked at me, she goes, Dave, have you heard of Explain Everything? I go, yeah. I go, yes, Courtney, we did a staff-wide training with it back in August. We had a good laugh about it, and Courtney's a great sport, and she wouldn't mind me telling the story. But the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes when you're not looking to use it, it's no big deal to you. But when you need to use it, all of a sudden there's 30,000 questions that you need to have. So that now's the time to start asking. If you've come up with ideas on a different way to do it, send them along, pass them along. It's most important right now. We share all the ideas we can. There's no such thing as a bad idea. So I'll leave you with that motivational note. You guys good? Thank you so much. Taking your time. Tom, I will send you if you're around, I will send you a Zoom invite.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
for you and I. All right. Thanks. Anything else?
Thank
Good?
you, Dave.
Thank you guys.